Okay, so I've been doing some playing around with the Vanbot here and texturing it up, and I did an okay job, nothing special. And I was just kind of looking at the channels, and I had to flatten them because it just got too slow. But what I want to do with this video is show you how to put a decal on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here, and right now it's on user shader. I'm going to put it to current channel. And so, current channel, what am I on? I'm on drugs. If I'm on the bump, I'm going to switch to the base color. So there it is, all flat, nothing special on it. Here, I'll zoom in so you can kind of see. Okay, just color, nothing great. Then I go over here to channels, and if I look at my bump, this is what my bump map looks like. And I've got this flat area here that's pushing out, and then there's a bunch of noise and stuff like that that's disturbing the surface here. Okay, and I did it again. If I go here to specular, specular is going to look similar to the bump, but different, right? There's some black areas in here that are probably quite, or they're not shiny at all, and then these lighter areas are kind of medium shine. This white area is going to be super shiny, the eyes are shiny. What else did I do? I generated an AO pass just for fun. I'm just going to let this load up. And that gives this kind of self-shadowing. And I can use that in masks, okay, and ways to kind of multiply your colors and textures. And what else did I generate? I generated a curvature map, series of curvature maps. And again, these are something that you can use in your masks, okay, and ways of blending different textures together and masks together. So like this white area here, that's actually how I generated, if you see it on the base color, you see that there's kind of like this orange stuff leaking through, all the corrosion is coming through. That's because I used that mask and I put some noise in it and a bunch of other crap. But that just takes too long to make a tutorial out of it. I want to do these quick. So, let's go and look and see what we can do. Oh, you bastard. Don't do that. Rotate around. And so, if I hit 5, 6, we're right on the back. Okay, and I got to figure out how I want this to look. I'm going to go in here. That should be great. And let's see, what are we looking at over here? There's your back right over here. And this kind of warped around the surface. I'm just going to grab this thing and bring it in. And this is something that I was surfing around the internet, and I kind of found something. I stole it, and I put it here. Okay, I went and I mutated this with some other logo, and then boom, I've got this. So it's like a no corona thing. And which one are we on? Channels, we're on the base color. And so I'm just going to go to layers, and let's make a fresh layer. Let's put it into a group. Okay. And go back to the layers, so that's paintable. If I'm on the folder, it's not paintable. Okay. And I can rub this in. Here, I'll make my brush bigger. Okay. And there we go. And I might notice that this might look a bit funny on my surface. So, before I do anything to this here, I'm just going to... Oh, I think it's going to automatically bake. Isn't it? Auto bake is on. Yeah, let's just see what it looks like. I don't mind that. Actually, maybe it wasn't such a good idea here. We'll just do something a little bit different. Just before I bake it, I'm undoing the bake. Okay, so it's on the surface. And then what I might do is switch over here to a warp. With a warp, I can create something like this. And I noticed that this just looked a bit weird, so I'm just going to bring that in a bit. And you see it warping there. If you want more points, you can just hit plus, it'll create more. You don't like the points you put in, you just hit clear or you hit subtract. Okay? Maybe something like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to hit B and I'm going to bake it. And let's see what we got. Not much different. Let's go back to before it baked. And what did I do? I did that. Okay, let's try this again. So over top like this, great. And then I'll get myself a little warp action. And it's actually this side that comes in a bit and it'll look better, I think. And there's probably other ways I can do this too, but yeah, I don't want to get too complicated. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter, or I'm going to hit B and bake it. And we'll call that good enough. Good enough for what we want to do. Oh, there's a bad line right there. Remember, if you do want to erase stuff here, if I go to the if I go to the paint tool, and I keep trying to do ZBrush hotkeys. 6. Okay, remember that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 changes you different viewports. I want to get rid of some of this white line here, so if I go to the paint tool, I can go and hit clear. And I just gotta wait a second, make this a bit smaller. Come on, there, and I can erase stuff. Now I can get rid of some stuff, but it starts to get tricky when I get near the edge of this decal. Okay, so, and I'll hit B and I'll bake that down so it's been erased. So what I can do is if I go into my channels, and I'm going to break this off, I'm going to break off my base color like that. Great. It's tacked. And then I'll go here to the layers, and I'm going to go to the group. And on the group, I'm just going to go right click, and I'm going to create a mask. And I'll use reveal. Okay. When I hit the mask again, and I right click on it, I can go to mask, and you can't see this is off to the side, but there's an option called make mask stack. And so that's making a series of layers for the mask, and I click it, there we go. I'm just clicking it, tacking it so I can get a hold of this thing. Okay, I'm just going to let that float right there. And now what I can do is with my mask here, what if I went in and I made, let's just deselect that. What if I went and I hit this and I made a fresh layer on top? Or actually, I don't even need a layer. Let's try this. Just one second. Just delete that. I take this and I right click and I add a procedural basic color. Actually, this thing is already, the mask is already white. So I don't need to actually do this. Let's hold on a second. White. We need it to actually be black. Should have been like a hide all. Actually, we'll take the color and I'll just kind of quickly switch it. I should have made it hide all so it'll be black, so you can't see anything now. But what I was going to do, my big trick, was I was going to grab this layer that I have, and if I hold down Control and Alt, I can copy, you bastard, copy it and drag it from the base color. Is it Control Alt or is it Shift Alt? Oh, Alt or Control Alt, but if I do Control Alt it deselects it, so I have to just hold Alt. There we go. So I've just put that on, and lo and behold, look what's happened. That image has come in. We're seeing parts of it and not other parts, so some parts are being chopped out. And it's black, so we want black out of this whole thing. And what I might actually do is I'm doing this because I can't really see what I'm doing. Let's put it into a folder. So I got the image there. And so you can keep putting just mask stack on top of mask stack here. If I went in and I did something like, let's go here and we're on current channel. Let's go to current layer and below. Okay. Actually, I think maybe in this case here would be current paint target. Here we go, so we can see the white. We basically want to make this black and white. And if I went in here and I can hide this thing now, I'm going to take this and what if I go and I right click on this and I add an adjustment contrast. So I take the contrast and I can crank up my contrast. Great. Pivot point. Like that. Actually, something else I should have done is maybe before I did that, let's just get rid of that freaking red. What if I right click and I did something like adjustment layer, and I hit luminosity. That makes it black and white. Okay. And then we have the contrast, and then I can play with the contrast. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And then I could even go and create another paint layer on top. And this paint layer, what's the current paint target? And I need to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go down here to current layer and below. There we go. And if I take this layer and I just got the paintbrush and I flip this around so I got black. And we're on clear because I was using clear before. Okay, great. This should just be nice and fast. I could probably do this other ways too, but let's just do it like this. Okay, come on. That. I'm doing this with a mouse because I have my microphone sitting on top of my Wacom tablet. Okay, great. And I'll hit B and bake it. And let's just see what this looks like now on my current channel. Black and white. Did this chop it all out? Oh, god damn it. So now I got to go to this, and what if I right click again, adjustment layer, what if I hit invert? And I got it. I've got something extra around the edges again. Maybe some kind of anti-aliasing, and you know what? Lazy Bob is just going to go over and get the freaking another layer on this thing, and I'll just go and take this black and white. Thought I was on the mask stack. Oh, and white is making it reveal, so I got to flip that around. It's a black thing. Okay, and I could do more work on this, but it's just gonna... Oh, you bastard! Undo that. Painting with a mouse, not ideal. Okay, and whatever, I'll pretend that's good. And I'll hit B and bake it. So now we got the decal on, or the decal. Oh yes, more problems there. Actually, it probably might even be a good idea while I'm doing this here. Let's close this. Sometimes you can see stuff a little bit better when you're on here. Actually, it might not be... maybe just something I'm hallucinating and seeing it. Okay, as I zoom out, I see a problem, a little bit of anti-aliasing on the sides. Okay, I'm going to pretend that's good. And now what I'm going to do is let's just go back to the layer stack here for the mask. And I feel confident about this. So I typically am all about leaving things so you're doing non-destructive work, but screw it. Let's just take these and this. Right click and merge, because I start to notice that my machine just can't handle this. And there, now they're just one. And if I want to take a look at what this looks like, I just got to wait a second. Well, the spinning blue wheel of death. Okay, let's just see what that looks like. So if I go here and I take a look at the current layer, actually it's the current, there, oh, there, I got it. Okay, and I zoom out and I can see a big white spot. There's that. That's my mask anyway. Let's just hit F there. Okay, so this is kind of cool because I was looking at this. I go over here. It's not even a mask stack anymore. I just take this one here. I'm just going to copy that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip over into my channels, and let's go over to my bump. Okay, so there's my bump channel. And in my bump channel, if I just went to layers here, and again, I flattened everything. Probably not the smartest thing to do. And I went into the layers and I hit Control V. Bloop. There, now I got that mask. I'm going to bring that over. So that's on my bump. But we don't want all this black on here, right? So let's go and switch the mode. So let's do, say, lighten. Is it going to be a lighten or a multiply? Lighten screen. And is it because I'm on particular channel? No, I'm on current channel. It's on current layer. Okay, there we go. So I did do it. So there it is. Because I did the screen, we got that white spot on here. So this means that on my bump map, this should be pushing out because it's white. Okay, and I can do a similar thing when I switch channels. Let's go and switch to the specular. Okay, and we see everything's kind of gray. And I go to the layers here. Layer and Control V. Copy paste functions, Control V. Take this thing and I'm going to switch it to lighten screen. There you go. Now it's going to be a shiny spot. And there we have it. So that's how I did that. Okay, and let's just see what that looks like when I go here and I go to use shader. That kind of puts them all together. And I just got to wait a second while it figures it out. Okay, so it's done it. And now you can see that when I zoom in here, the sticker is shiny. Looks like there's something kind of bleeding through from underneath. And over here, when I look at this, it's going to be shiny on the sticker and flat everywhere else. And it looks like I can see some bad pixel action, but whatever, I don't care. Okay, and then, actually, you know what? I'm going to save that. I'll save it for the next video, because I'll stop this one here. Oh, actually, you know what I'm going to do? One more thing. Save. When you go in here and you hit File, Save, it's going to save over top of your current project that you're working on. Okay? And if I go down here to File and then I hit Close, so I saved it and I closed it, Mari's got this weird thing going on. In order to do this stuff, like if I go and I click, I don't want to double click on this one right here. That's the first one I was working on. That's with all the layers and adjustment layers and all the things I was horsing around with to get what I've got up here. It's kind of a bit of a, it's too slow. But what you do is I've closed it, and then you can take this and you might do something like hit duplicate, or if you want to hit archive, you can archive the file, and that's how you open it up in another computer. So then you open the archives. It's kind of weird how it does it. This one here, you can hit duplicate and you can save a new version. So if I do this, duplicate, it's going to duplicate it, and then I'll have like a version 3. Okay, so yeah, and I'll leave it like that so you know all the things you can do, because there's the number 3 of this. I'll stop the video now.